Well, in today's 5-Minute Gardener, even though we're just days into fall, it's actually time to start thinking about spring flowers. In many cases, what you plant now will result in gorgeous color come March, April, and May. Our 5-Minute Gardener, Debbie Mounts from Harlow Gardens, tells us about one of my favorites, the sweet pea.
Okay, good afternoon. It's Debbie Mounts, the 5-Minute Gardener. One of my fondest memories is of my Grandma Mudd. Yeah, that was her name. What can I say? She lived here in town and she had a beautiful garden and she just grew sweet peas like there's nobody's business. So I'm going to teach you how to grow sweet peas today. Now, one of the things that's tough about sweet peas is you need to get them to germinate. And in order to do that, they have a little hard shell covering on the seed, and you need to break through that hard shell covering in order for them to pop open and germinate in the soil. So I'm going to show you an easy tip on how to do that. Now, you want to get a container that you have a tight-fitting lid for. You know, Tupperware containers or anything like that are great. And what you do is you just take, this is just a paper towel that I've folded over, and you just set it in the bottom of the container. And you put enough water, well, let's double this over here, that'll work better. You just put enough water in there to come up halfway along the side of the seed. I'm gonna open up these seeds and dump them in there. Spread them out a little, and then I'm just gonna pour some water over them. But I only want enough, I don't want to totally cover the seed. I just want that paper towel to hold the moisture and come up halfway along the side of the seed. There we go, that's just about perfect. Now what I'm going to do is pop the lid on the container, and we're going to leave this overnight. Now what will happen in this morning is you're going to open it up, put it in a warmer spot in your house if you have one, or you can put it out on the patio if you like. But in the morning what's going to happen is you're going to pop open that container and you'll see that some of the seeds have swelled and some of them are still hard. Now I actually did that last night, so I brought some that I left overnight for you, so maybe you can see the difference in them. Now some of these guys have gotten big and kind of chunky there. Those are the ones whose outer coating has broken through, and these are the ones you can go through and pull out and plant immediately. Now for the ones that are still there, that are still hard, there is a technique that you can do. You can take a little nail file and just rub it right across that seed and break it open and put them in your container, cover it again, and then plant those the next day. And you can keep doing that if you like, or just put a whole bunch of seeds in there and plant only the ones that germinate. Alrighty, gosh, I hope this helps you with your seed germination.
I was so enthralled there, I almost forgot you were here. So those little creatures are today?
Are these. Now
and how long did that take, just so we don't fool
We
viewers?
did this segment about a month ago.
Okay.
Okay, and these guys have been growing ever since.
Okay.
So now this is kind of like a little pretend garden. We're going to pretend this is in the ground.
Okay.
So now they're this big and they're going to need staking of some kind. You can either put, you and I were talking on off camera about how some people do them along a chain link fence, which is perfect.
Perfect.
But if you don't have a chain link fence, you can use a trellis, or you can also do something like just using 3 stakes, making a little teepee type structure out of them.
Perfect.
And you can grow them right up along the teepee structure.
Perfect.
And you want to use tie tape, and you tie the sweet peas to it. Tie tape is a stretchy tape. So what happens is, as the sweet peas grow and the stems expand, then the tie tape, because it gives, it won't pinch off the stems of the sweet pea.
Okay.
So you just bring them up along the side here.
And you can do
time up as
several
they
on
get.
each one?
Sure, you can do a couple on each one. Now this is a lot of sweet peas in one pot. If this were really my garden, I would have thinned some of those guys out because they're going to kind of fight for water and air and sunlight and stuff. So you want to thin them out a little bit. This is just my little sample garden to bring in here today. And you want to water them through the winter. Now, I forgot to tell you this part. As the winter comes on, as the cold weather comes on, they're just going to kind of hold still. They're going to grow as it's warm, and then they're going to stop. And they're just going to kind of hunker down and wait till the winter time is over. And then in the spring, as we get that little first bit of warmth, they just take off on you, and that's when they start blooming. Try to plant them, if you can, in a spot that gets afternoon shade, because that'll extend the period of bloom for you.
And the key to starting them now, because people are thinking, well, why can't I just plant them in February? But you say that's not a good idea.
Well, one of the main things that happens is if you start them in February, our soil right now is really warm. Even your potting soil in your pots is warm. The soil in the ground is warm. The soil in February is very cold. So it totally slows down the germination. You don't have time enough for them to come up and really bloom before the heat hits.
And they'll get really tall, won't they?
They'll get tall. They'll get to be about, well, depending upon the variety, there's different varieties, but they'll get to be about 5-6 feet tall.
And the smell is just
It's just
divine.
heaven. It's heaven.
Yeah.
All of us have memories of somebody dear to us that grew sweet peas, just like my Grandma Mud.
Grandma
Mud.
It's like I know her.
Exactly. You do know her.
Exactly. I can smell the sweet peas.
Exactly.
Thank you so much,
You're
Debbie.
very welcome.
They're gorgeous.